Now we're going to do exercise 11.2, which is the timer program. So let's open that up in idle. And the first thing they want us to do is review the code and test it. Can't stress this enough. Before you modify code, you want to understand the code, know your code. Before you do anything with data, you want to understand what kind of data you're looking at, how it's aggregated and whatnot. Very important. So what we're going to do now is kind of do a quick overview, test this thing out before we do any of the changes that this exercise asks us to do. Okay, we look up at the top. At the top of the program, we can see the standard shebang statement. Next, we're doing an import from date time. We're importing two objects. They did a one-line import. A lot of times you can see multi-line where they do multiple lines. Here they have a comma to just grab. They're just grabbing two things at once. So the objects that they're pulling in are the date time object and the time object. And here's a big function. This main function looks like just one function, which is the main function. You can see it defined here. If we go down here, we have the standard thing to be able to tell if you're the main function, the standard line of code, seeing if the name equals the double underscore main double underscore, which says you're in, you are where you are, you're in the main module. This is very important in Python code. We went over this in the past. But you need to know this because you're going to see it a lot in various modules. And this says, hey, if in here and this is the main thing, let's run this. So basically, this module looks like it's only one function, the main function. Everything's just in this big function. So if we go up to the first thing that's being done here is we print out the timer program, do another print just for spacing. Then they commented it, which is good. So you see how looks like each distinct section has a comment, which is good. It helps us better understand, and that's very important, especially when you're doing a program by scratch. To put that, put what's going on in the comment. A lot of times if things are divided up into a lot of functions, the function names themselves can be descriptive to kind of give you that comment within the name themselves, but this is just one big function. So when you have this, it's really important to properly comment kind of each area. And we see under the section called Start Timer that they're taking input from the user and basically just doing a blank call to input, which is kind of interesting. It's kind of neat. So basically all this is not grabbing anything back at all. Like in the past, some of the past exercises we did, we took in an input a number, input miles per gallon or hours or something. But this is it's basically stopping the program and requesting a user input and doing nothing with it. That's because you can see down here, we're using a date time function now to see when they hit start. So we're just timing their input. So we're not collecting it. We're just going to see from when they hit the first, they hit, they could leave an hour, or they could do whatever they they want, but once they hit that, it kind of starts, and then they take a start time, and grabbing the date time function now, and once the start time is established in the date time, they print it. They print start time, and then they do another print to give some more spacing in there, and then we're in the next part of it, the stop timer. So it appears to be what they're doing is they're starting kind of like a time clock that you might have have for running a race, or that you might use for cooking or whatever. More like running a race, I guess, because you press it once, and then it looks like we go to this again where it's looking for input and doing totally nothing with it in terms of input. It's just waiting for our time. So they could wait 1 second, they could wait 10 seconds, they could wait 10 hours, they could wait a day or two. But once we finally get input from a user, we're going to go to this next step. We're going to say stop time, and we're going to use the same thing we did with the start time. But now we should have a different value in here because we're using the date time now. And that's going to give us a different value. We're going to print our value, and then we're going to print another space. So it's kind of cool, kind of a neat little thing that we're letting the users are just hitting it. We're not taking real input other than they just gave us hit enter, and entered anything. We don't, they could type whatever they want basically, but we ignore it. We're just really looking to see that they enter something, and that starts the clock and this stops the clock. And we're using the Python date time now twice to get these two readings. Then we get into the calculation of the elapsed time. We have elapsed time equals stop time minus start time. Yep, that looks good. We can do that with date times, and it does it well. And okay, they want to run it through here. I bet have done it slightly differently, but I mean we're working with another program, and they're showing you how to do a lot of things. Like I said, there's obviously some quicker ways to do exactly what they did here. If you watch some of the videos, like the part 1 and the part 2, I show you quicker ways to do some of this. But in real life, you're often dealing with other people's programs. You need to make whatever modification to it, this desired or requested. So we're gonna leave most of the way they're doing it intact, and just follow what was given to us in the instructions in the exercise. So then with the elapsed time that's calculated, they get days there, and we can see minutes, elapsed time, and in seconds, floor division to 60. That would do it. They're using the floor here. I fear if I hit really quickly, that's going to always be a 0. You'll hit it unless I wait a long time. In the seconds, elapsed time, seconds. Doing the modulos, the remainder divided. Yep, that would indeed work. And if we go into microseconds, and in this one, they're just grabbing the microseconds here. Here they're doing some interesting calculations. It looks like it seems like it should actually work though. Then they basically do the same for hours. You have the floor division, the modulus or remaining you're doing here, and that should indeed work. And then they're creating a time object. And like I said, there's probably some quicker ways to do this, but I believe what they're showing you is they're trying to touch all, kind of a lot of the things that we learned in this chapter, and put it into kind of one program. So they make a time object, and they have hours, minutes, seconds, and microseconds. Then we go to the display result, and print elapsed time. They're doing a conditional if days are greater than 0. We're not going to test this. That would take a while to test. You basically have to hit the start button, go off, return to your computer or laptop or whatever you're working this on, and wait a whole day. So we're not going to test the days out there, but it appears that it should work by looking at this code. And if it's days, we'd print that, and then it also gives the time based on how we created all the parts of the time and assigned the time object. So let's just run this really quick. Start time, let it wait a little, stop time. Okay. So almost 3 seconds. Which seems about right. That's how they put together the time object and printed it. So I know we were looking at these parts. Let's make our own copy here, and we're just going to call it testing. We don't want to corrupt the original program, and we're just going to work off of this. And this would be our program that we would hand in once we're done with the exercise. Okay, so now let's make some quick extra testing. I see we're signing this, and it appears to work. I just want to do some extra prints. So we're going to get rid of these. It's just always good to check out some things, and I actually do things like this quite often while programming. I may print out especially if I'm debugging, syntax errors, as we discussed in other chapters. They pop up really good, and you can see them, or runtime errors when you run the program. They crash and give you an error, and you know they're there. But when you're talking logic errors, they're kind of harder to find, and a lot of times just occasionally printing out different steps helps out. So we're going to do that here. We're going to run it. We're going to be really quick this time, so we're just going to go start, stop. Okay, so about what I expected, and about what would jive with what we're throwing into the time object here. we see a 0 for the minutes, which I thought, and I hit it really quick, and we're going to get a 1 there with the modulos. And yeah, it's going to be pretty good. So I just wanted this kind of interesting way they're doing it, but it does make sense, and it does work, which is good. And now we're going to need to move on to the next step, which is going to be actually doing the modifications that were requested from us. Okay, it looks like the first part says modify the code that displays the start and stop times, so it only displays the time part, not the date part. Okay, so that should be the part up here. And what we can use to do this, and the book talks about it, and also we go over it in the previous videos. I believe the second part video is we can use the string format time. And what this format is going to do is it's going to format it the way we want. So we're going to find a good one. So let's go in the book, and we're going to flip. You could also use the internet. It's a wonderful just resource for grabbing all these various formats that you may, or if you don't recall them, all of these, don't worry. Some of the basic ones you're going to probably remember if you use Python a fair amount. Most likely, unless you're spending many hours working with the various date formats, you're not going to remember all of them, but there's plenty of resources, one being your book. The other is just you Google it on the internet, and there's plenty of sites out there. And so what we're going to do is we're going to throw in a format. You see if it's the C is going to give everything, but if we do like an X, what we'd get here is just a date formatted for the actually a time formatted. The date format's a little one, but the big X will give us the time formatted. So it's just going to give the time, and then we're also going to throw in there, tell it to give us the time with milliseconds on there. So let's just do this for the one, and then we see if we want to do it for the other, because this looks like it's what they want, but it's always good to verify. So we go start. There we go. Yeah, that looks good. You see how we get rid of the whole date part. We're just the time and the milliseconds. So what we can do is we can apply it right over here too. So we're going to change that part of the code, and basically we just copy that down, what we just did here, in that should finish what they want us to do in terms of these formats for that part of the requirement. Okay. So we don't want to retype all that in, so we're going to copy And we're going to do the same to the stop time. Once again, it's the string format time, strftime, and we could format it all sorts of ways. And the book just lists it out, or like I said, you could find another source. So we run this. And that is looking good. We have the time. We can see the difference here in the seconds. So that looks like we completed it. So let's flip back in the book. We're going to flip back to the actual exercise, and it looks like we're done with that part. But we have another part that they need us to do, and this part says modify the code that displays the elapsed time so it only shows hours and minutes and seconds. Well, hours divided by minutes and seconds. Also, the program should only display the hours/minutes data if it contains a non-zero value. Okay. So if we go down there and look at that, currently it's just looking for days. I mean, we probably don't need those days anymore. Like I said earlier, we're probably not even wanting to test that out. That takes a while to test. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get rid of the days. Just totally blow it out of there. And we're gonna work with instead. We're gonna work with the hours for that part, because they want us to only do that. So we're just gonna knock the days out of there. We could leave the days there. It would probably be harmless, but we're gonna knock it out of there. So let's change this, because we're really not concerned with the days anymore. So we're looking at hours, and they also minutes, because we're not going to print this if we're really only talking about seconds. So go here. Okay, so what we have is if hours greater than 0 or minutes greater than 0, we're going to print this. But now, of course, it is going to be different, as they asked for something different. So we're going to print something different. We're going to say hours, what the book say, they call it divided by minutes. So hours divided by minutes. Put that there. And we're just going to use the actual time object that we created, because it has all of these goodies in there. We can't use days anymore. And let's copy down this format that we have here. Okay. Gotta put this here. Okay. But let's see what if they want a different format. Displays time, show hours, hours, and 1 hours a minute. So let's change this format to better fit what they're asking for. Hours and minutes. Okay. So if we get over a minute, what this is saying, or over an hour, because we know how minutes we will grab this. So let's go here. And this is not going to be time anymore. We're going to change it to seconds, because this will really just be the seconds. And we're going to string this together with a plus sign that concatenates strings. So we're going to do the same on this one. Let's copy this down. So we're going to copy this part down, and we're going to do some friendly concatenation again. And now this is seconds, and the format says hours and minutes. So that's not good. It's not gonna. It's probably not display much of anything. A bunch of zeros. So we're gonna go to seconds and milliseconds, and this should do it. So let's do a couple tests here. We're going to run the module. Hit start time and wait a little bit. And we hit it. And waited nearly 7 seconds for that to run. Now gonna let it run a long time and see if we can get it to get it actually into the minutes. So we're going to have a minute, and to trigger this next part here with the conditional. So we have the or, so if either of these conditions are met, this condition here, hours greater than 0, with the or minutes greater than 0. If we were to put an and in there instead of a or, both conditions would have to be true. That means it would have to be greater than 0 hours calculated, and then also greater than 0 minutes. And if this does occur, what we're doing here in this, after this conditional, we're going to print the hours, minutes, and then we're using the concatenation to concatenate the time object that we created up here, and then we're we're doing some additional formatting with the str f time, and we're using the hours minutes because that's really in the realm we're in. We're going to be at least a minute. We're not going to hit the hour. I don't feel like sitting around here and for an hour in testing that part of it out. Not necessary. If you wanted to run through something, we could set the conditional a little lower or something if you wanted just to test to see if this doesn't crash or whatnot. But we're just going to wait a minute to get through here, and then see what it says. So what's going to happen here is if we reach the minute, it's going to print this, but then we're also going to print seconds, because you can see that this conditional is only here because we have the indent. If we were to indent this also, we'd only print when this occurs. So last time we ran through, it went, oh, we didn't meet this condition, we just did this. This time when we run through, we're hoping we waited over a minute, and then every condition should be met. So it's going to meet this and go print. It's going to hit this and go print. So if indeed we waited for a minute here, we should see both of these in our display results. So I think it's been about a minute. I should have probably set some sort of time clock to make sure, but we're going to live dangerously today and just hope that we actually went over enough details here that we spanned a minute. So now I'm going to hit stop. And yes, we did. When in fact, looks like we hit 4 minutes and 14 seconds. So we did span over a minute, which was the goal, and we reviewed the code here. Looking at everything in our results, it looks like the exercise is complete and now ready to hand in.